Hey y'all, welcome to the channel. Today we're checking out top 10 greatest British directors of all time.
They've orchestrated some of the most famous films in cinema and flown the flag for British filmmaking in the process. Welcome to WatchMojo UK, and today we'll be counting down the top 10 British directors.
Before we begin, if you enjoyed this video, be sure to subscribe for more great content.
For this list, we'll be focusing on the most influential directors from cinema that hail from the British Isles.
There are so many British directors, like Ridley Scott comes to mind. Oh, Christopher Nolan. He was on the thumbnail. Of course he's going to be on this list. David Lean, I think, is British.
Number 10, Steve McQueen. Although
Yeah.
he's still a fairly new name
12
to
Years a
many,
Slave is what I
McQueen
know him
has
from.
been on the peripherals of the industry for quite a while, making short films as far back as 1993. And although he only has a few big titles under his belt, they've been some doozies and have all garnered a lot of attention and featured Michael Fassbender.
So, what did you call me here for?
There was Hunger in 2008, Shame in 2011, and of course his most famous title, 12 Years a Slave, in 2013, a film which claimed the Academy Award for Best Picture.
Right. Okay, yeah, I've heard of Steve McQueen. I always get him mixed up with the actor. 12 Years a Slave was a depressing film, but good in the end. It was good in the end. Hard to watch, though. Michael Fassbender is a great choice to have in your films all the time. Mr. McQueen, good choice. He's great. Who's next?
Number 9, Nicholas Roeg.
Why'd you come here?
I've not heard of him.
To say Roeg has been around the block is an understatement, earning early credits as a cinematographer on the likes of Lawrence of Arabia and
What? He was a cinematographer on Lawrence of Arabia? Great work, Mr. Roeg. It's one of the most beautiful films ever filmed. Look at it. Look at that. Wow. I'm impressed. Nicholas Roeg. I had not heard of him. Great work, Nick.
is an understatement. Earning early credits as a cinematographer on the likes of Lawrence of Arabia and The Mask of the Red Death, Roeg went on to direct The Man Who Fell to Earth, Performance, and the masterpiece Don't Look Now. He refined his art through the years and fashioned a unique, psychologically challenging style, which has made his films some of the most memorable in cinema history.
Don't Look Now is very different from Lawrence of Arabia in terms of the way it looks. I could sort of see the comparison or similar style with The Man Who Fell to Earth. Look at that. That could be a shot in Lawrence of Arabia. The way it's balanced, the composition, the complementary colors between the hair and the blue in the back. That's good. That's good cinematography. This, though, it's a little bit handheld camera type of thing. Interesting.
Number 8, Guy Ritchie.
I want to know f***ing
How could I forget?
Breaking into the film industry with his 1998 gangster classic, Lock, Stock and Two Smoking Barrels, Guy Ritchie has since become synonymous with tongue-in-cheek crime epics.
Rock and roll, I
His
haven't seen
unique
that.
style of violence and humour, as well as his ability to mix in pop culture references and killer soundtracks, has given him a distinct footprint on the silver screen. His smash-and-grab London gangster films soon led him to direct hits like Sherlock Holmes starring Robert Downey Jr. and 2017's King Arthur Legend of the Sword.
How could I forget Guy Ritchie? Of course. He's contemporary. I loved Lock, Stock and Two Smoking Barrels. I love Snatch. Guy Ritchie, of course, he's great.
Number 7, Michael Powell. There's an exclusive few responsible for building the foundations of psychological thrillers, one of which is Michael Powell.
I feel like I just heard his name recently.
Known for his frequent collaborations with writer and director Emmerich Pressburger, the Dream Team created some of cinema's greatest, most revered and most studied films, including The Life and Death of Colonel Blimp and A Matter of Life and Death, and of course the highly controversial and groundbreaking Peeping Tom. Cited as inspiration for many other big-time directors including Martin Scorsese and Francis Ford Coppola, his techniques are littered throughout many modern films.
I think I heard his name because I reacted to a video that talked about the life of Colonel Blimp. Is that what it's called? And supposedly that's supposed to be a really good film. And I've not seen it. I need to check it out. Michael Powell.
Number 6, Danny Boyle.
Slumdog Millionaire.
Trying his hand at many different genres, Boyle immortalized himself in the world of cinema back in 1996 with his second feature film, Trainspotting. After directing other gritty entries like zombie flick 28 Days Later, Boyle went on to head up the highly successful Slumdog Millionaire, which won 8 Academy Awards, and other films like 127 Hours and a Steve Jobs biopic. Boyle was even asked to be the artistic director for the 2012 Summer Olympics opening ceremony in London, a true honour for any Brit.
I like Danny Boyle's films. I like 28 Days Later. I like Slumdog Millionaire. I feel like he did something recently. Pistol yesterday he did. Right, okay. Good work,
Number
Danny.
5, Charlie Chaplin.
Forgot he was British, of course. Yeah.
Chaplain is a true example of a rags to riches story, and a multifaceted filmmaker. From the drudge of workhouses as a child, his early career consisted of stage acting, which eventually evolved to feature films with his iconic persona, the Tramp. But Chaplain was more than just a slapstick comic character. Outside of starring, Chaplain directed and wrote most of his own films, as well as composed music for them. Mostly stepping in front of camera with nothing but a brief idea, his improvisational techniques have gone on to inspire numerous filmmakers.
Yeah, I always forget he's British, but he definitely is. And I forget he was a director. He definitely was. He's number what on this list? 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5. Okay. He's probably one of the first British directors, honestly.
Number 4, Christopher Nolan.
He's number 4.
This guy doesn't do things by halves.
I thought he'd be higher
Known
on
just
the
as
list.
much for his writing as he is his directing, he puts himself on the map in the year 2000 with his chronologically shuffled Memento. Nolan then went on to take the reins of the Batman franchise in 2005, spawning a highly successful trilogy, and he is also responsible for a series of intricate, psychologically charged sci-fi hits like Inception and Interstellar. When it comes to achieving awe-inspiring cinematic visuals, Nolan is one of the guys you call.
Yeah, what a talent. He's great. I love how he always brings a grounded approach to his films. It's nice. It's like he can do really crazy scenarios and keep them feeling grounded and convincingly real. Funny thing, I've seen Christopher Nolan at my local pub a couple times. I guess that's his local pub too. I'm always afraid to talk to him though, because I don't think that would be appropriate. Maybe I should say hi next time. Buy him a pint. That's what I'll do.
Number 3, David Lean.
There he is.
Lawrence of Arabia, Dr. Zhivago, The Bridge on the River Kwai, take your pick with this guy's classics.
Yes.
Winning Best Director Oscars for 2 of those films, David Lean is one of the pioneers of big screen epics, and his films have served as inspiration for countless masterpieces from filmmakers like Steven Spielberg and Stanley Kubrick. Delivering stunning visuals and dynamic performances from actors like Peter O'Toole and Omar Sharif, Lean was instrumental in bringing British cinema to the rest of the world.
Lawrence of Arabia on its own should put him on this list, but he also did Dr. Zhivago and Bridge on the River Kwai. Amazing films. Great work, David. Great work, David.
Number 2, Ridley Scott. From tension-inducing glances and sound effects to atmospheric lighting and intricately detailed sets, Ridley Scott's films go the whole 9 yards and then some. Becoming the talk of sci-fi fanboys everywhere in the late 70s with Alien, Scott's attention to detail and storytelling are legendary.
Where's my money?
From other sci-fi
He did
classics like Blade
American
Runner
Gangster?
to battle scene heavy Gladiator and the crime-riddled American Gangster, Scott has dabbled in many different genres. Regardless of the genre, his films always boast flair.
Yeah, Ridley Scott. I mean, he's made some classics. He's still making them. What was the most recent thing he did? Napoleon he did. Okay. He's been doing some TV lately. Okay, I didn't know that. Mr. Scott. You know, it's crazy to think that Alien came out in the 70s.
Before we unveil our top pick, here are a few honourable mentions.
Okay. Ken Loach. I haven't heard of him. Edgar Wright, yeah. Love his films. Yes. David Yates? Oh, he did Harry Potter.
Number
okay.
1, Alfred Hitchcock.
Oh, of course. Of course.
Ah yes, the master of suspense.
Yes.
If you want genuine hair-raising, goosebump and sweat-inducing thrills, then just watch one of Hitchcock's many blockbuster
How
hits.
can I forget?
Psycho, The Birds, Rear Window, all examples of pioneering Hitchcockian techniques at work, from unnerving camera angles to first-person shots. Each of his films brews with a sense that anything could happen at any moment, creating his trademark thriller edginess. And who can forget his killer cameos?
I'm so disappointed in myself that I didn't think of Alfred Hitchcock right away at the beginning of this. Of course he's number 1. He's ubiquitous with the film industry. Alfred Hitchcock, of course he's number 1. Of course he's number 1. So when Alfred Hitchcock, Ridley Scott, David Lean, okay. Part of me feels like David Lean should have been in front of Ridley Scott just because he was around before. But Ridley Scott's made so many great films. Christopher Nolan's number 4. That's a respectable position, considering who's in front of him. Christopher Nolan, yes. He's very good. Charlie Chaplain. See, I feel like he should be higher up, just because he was there before all these other folks. No, this is a good list. This is a good list. Great work, Mojo. I didn't realize all of them were British, and I didn't realize some of them existed. So I learned something, and I hope you learned something too. I hope you enjoyed watching this with me, and I'll see you next time. Later.